Okay. Hello, we're working on our second day. I don't need that picture of myself. All right, I'm trying to present. All right, there we go. So today we're just going to work on a little bit more of our Constitution notes. You should have an assignment that looks like this. And my expectation is that you just keep up with what we're doing today. When I update our Google slide, I will let everybody know what question you should be through. This is not... Things are just moving slow on my computer again. If you're wondering, what is she doing? I'm just trying to pull up the document. All right. So yesterday, I didn't quite finish everything background-wise that I wanted to. We're only going to go about 5 minutes, so let's just try to finish up the background. Okay, and there is a space for you to put your name. And then we'll start Article 1 tomorrow just because of all my technical bunglings that we have. So yesterday I know I talked about this, but I should have made sure there was a question in our document. So does anyone remember how many articles? We talked about the preamble, that our Constitution has 3 parts. We have the preamble that tells why the Constitution was written. We have the articles that explain how the government will be run. And then we have our amendments that provide for the additions or changes, because the Constitution is 233 years old, and we needed to make sure that it adjusted with the times. So does anyone remember how many articles I said that we have? 7. So you can type 7. You guys might want to change your ink color because it's going to pop out a lot more than if you're just using like boring old black, type. You can use any color you want, just don't use a highlighter. Okay, and then we talked about the Constitution. A lot of people didn't want to sign the Constitution in 1787 because it didn't have any personal protections for people's liberties. So we started out with 10. How many amendments have we gotten since? It's almost, we had the amendments, the Bill of Rights by 1791 or 1781. So since then, how many amendments do we have total? Anybody remember? Good. All right. So please type in 27 right there. Now, yesterday we talked about the 6 weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation, and the Constitution. There are 6 purposes to the Constitution. Okay. So hopefully you can keep up with that. I'm just trying to get you through number 4. Okay, and then you might see that I have duplicated the number 4. So, I'll fix that, but it may not fix on your paper. Okay, so if we think about think about the 6 purposes of the Constitution. Things that did not exist because of the preamble. Okay, the first thing is that it established a republic. Okay, so republic literally means what part of the word says, public, that the public would be able to vote to put people in position to rule the country. So you can just type republic. Okay. Another thing, and this is not going super well right now in modern day times, but it did divide powers between the states and the federal government. So what would the states' responsibilities be? What would the federal government's responsibilities be? So just to get things in their basics, for A, I would definitely put republic, establishes a republic, and for B, I would put it divides power between states and the federal government. The third example or purpose of the United States Constitution, something that it lacked with the Articles of Confederation that went before it, was that there would be a system of checks and balances. Again, that's something that's it's maybe not going so great right now, currently, but a system of checks and balances. So our three branches of government have the ability to check each other's power. So if one branch of the government is being too powerful, then another one can kind of step in. Okay. Another thing that we'll start talking about tomorrow are the qualifications to be in the government. Okay, so we'll talk about the age requirements, the residency requirements, the citizenship requirements, and the term, the commitment that somebody's going to have. So I would put that for letter D. And then E and F kind of talk about the amendments. So E is really that changes were allowed, or if something didn't exist in the Constitution, it was added. Okay? So the 6 purposes of the Constitution, it was to establish a republic, to separate the powers between states and the federal government, to set up a system of checks and balances between the 3 branches of the government, to allow changes to the Constitution that existed, and to allow additions, things that they didn't think about. As times change, they didn't think about that.
What was the others?
I would D and F. You got
Yeah.
E. So D, I would definitely put qualifications. The qualifications to run for office, if that helps you. And for the last one, E, I would put changes, and F, I would put additions.
Wait, what was that?
So Rogelio, you need all 6 of them or just part of them? Which do you...
I just need them.
Oh, it was additions, like adding on something. Okay? So the just a little bit more that we're going to talk about. Don't worry about if you're typing, if you're spelling these correctly exactly yet. I'm going to be sending you a document. I'm going to be attaching it. So you'll see me pull this document, and I will edit it. And it's going to look like this from our book. Okay, the book that you guys don't have. You guys, I have them in school for you, but I figured it would just be easier to do this online. So you'll be seeing a document like this where you can spell things correctly. All right. So when we study these 7 articles that Fernando reminded us about, I'm just going to give you like a little index of what we're going to be studying. And we'll be studying Article 1 tomorrow, and probably Monday a little bit more, and then Tuesday is probably the goal to do Article 2. But we get done what we get done. I'll be sending you some little checks of your knowledge, but right now these are your notes. If we were in class right now, these would be the things you would be writing down by hand. But now that I've gone to the digital version of this, then maybe I will never go back to doing it that way. We'll see. So Article 1 is all going to be about the legislative branch. Okay, the legislative branch. So that is the biggest portion of the Constitution. Article 2, so you don't have to write this, but when we talk about the legislative branch, that's Congress. That's the House of Representatives, that's Senate. Okay? Article 2, if you want to know who you'll be studying about in that's when we talk about the executive branch. And the executive branch is the president, it's the vice president, it's the cabinet members, which under our current president, they change pretty often. I can't get a picture of the current cabinet members because, obviously because of the quarantine, but also because of how rapidly they change. Okay, the 3rd article in the Constitution is about the judicial branch. When we talk about the court system, that's what we're talking about. Okay, and again, if this isn't perfect, don't worry. You're going to have some things to help help with that. Okay, since we talked about the Articles of Confederation, the the states having so much power, they wanted to make sure that the states knew what their rights were. So Article 4 is not super long. It's about the rights that states have. Okay. At that time when the Constitution was written, we had 13 states. Now we have 50 states. And then something that the Articles of Confederation lacked, which is why we don't have that as our Constitution anymore. Number 5 is about amending the Constitution. How to change it, how to add to it. Amending. And then lastly, the last two. Article 6 is basically after the war, our country was very much in debt when Washington took over as president. So it was about taking over debts and that the federal law was the most important. Okay, so debts, DEBTS, and the federal law, the Constitution, is the supreme law. It's more important than the laws that Burnham or Chicago or Illinois or are going to create. Okay, and then lastly, Article 7 is ratification. How would they get the Constitution working? Okay, ratifying. Ratifying means passing, approving. Okay, that is all we're going to do today. So when you see me put on our Google slideshow today, I will just put, to watch the video if somebody missed class today, and that we should be able, through me talking and you guys listening, to fill in 1 to 4 on day 3. The rest of it, 5 to the rest of it, I don't expect you to do. We'll do that together. I'm going to be posting this picture that kind of gives like a visual flow of what things look like. And there's no history homework other than I want you working on the preamble and just kind of reviewing some of the things that you typed in and make sure that what you typed today and what you typed yesterday on your notes are up to date, because I will give you a grade on that. If you were in class, I wouldn't be giving you a grade on your notes. I'd only be giving you a grade on your quizzes. So you'll get, we're not doing quizzes per se. I will give you things to check your knowledge. I know that you could always look at your notes or look it up or call your friend, but we are going to try to we are going to do a test on this where it's going to, if somebody asks me, did you pass the Constitution, I'm going to be able to say yes. But we're doing this because we're in this, this is where we are in history. This is exactly where we are. And I wouldn't want you to have to do this with Ms. McGowan next year. So we're doing it this year, and I hope you're excited about learning a little bit more about your government. All right, so I'm going to stop my screencasting, and I'm hoping to. I'm going to stop sharing first, and then I'm going to stop my video recording of this class. I hope. Well, I think I've been recording this class. I may not have. I may have to record it again. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about your project or for reading any of your other assignments? Don't forget, DEBTS is D-E-B-T-S.
DEBTS?
Yep. Yep. All right. So what can I do? Did I go too fast, too slow? What do you need help with? All right.